Well, this episode was a little something different, something that you don't always see on FlatsClass. On FlatsClass, typically you see us stalking a backcountry zone or fishing a crystal clear water shallow flat. But today we took the Marquesa offshore and we did some fishing with Captain Brandon Branch that is some of his favorite, gag grouper fishing.
So CA and I have been trying for a couple years now to get out there and shoot a grouper show, and today we finally got a good weather opportunity. It was 5 knots, light and variable, picking up on an afternoon sea breeze in the afternoon. So we decided we were going to shoot out there first thing in the morning. In his little boat, you kind of have to have a good opportunity to do it, and today was perfect.
So we roll out to the first set of rocks that Brandon has on his cell phone. He enters into my Raymarine. We roll out there and I set up on an anchor ball because it's a little bumpy, not a lot bumpy, but a little bumpy. And we're out there in about 9 or 10 feet of water. So the power pole's not gonna hold us on the bottom. It's not even gonna touch the bottom. We pull the rods out and we set them down, and I inadvertently walked around the console and I stepped on one of the rod butts, or I thought I stepped on the rod butt. But what I actually did is I stepped on the handle of one of the reels on the rod that Brandon was gonna use. And yeah, that came back to bite us a little bit. Uh-oh.
I got a fish on. Well, boys, we're hooked up with a broken reel. Oh, we got a double. Handle fell off on a CA. We're gonna get him in. Don't worry, hand cranking. You might have a little bit better one there. Look at that fish. Oh yeah. There you go, you got a nice one.
Yeah.
You got a little guy here. Got a little feller. Let me help you land this guy here. Good fish.
He is a toad.
I told you they were gonna pull.
Yeah, you did.
That's a good one there.
That is a good one.
Look,
that's a good
look
one.
where that swim bait is down his throat.
I have to get a shot of you with that one, my friend.
What a nice fish. We're in 5 feet of water.
5 feet of water and catching
That's a
fish
quality
like
gag grouper right there.
that. Nice fish.
Solid fish. Those shallow water grouper are really like nothing else I've ever caught. They're hanging to structure really tight, so you're specifically casting at one area, and when they hit, it's probably the hardest fighting and hardest hit you'll find out there. They really smash it when they hit it, and it's you against them. They're trying to get back in the rocks so they can break your line, and you're pulling as hard as you can, and it's not really like catching the grouper out in the deep water where the first 10 or 15 feet is the most crucial part to get them up off the bottom. When you're catching them inshore, it's from the time they bite all the way to the boat, they're giving you a run for your money.
You are not kidding. Those things hit like a freight train.
They do. I mean, it's just.
I mean, I thought I got electrocuted for about half a second. I was like, ho! And then I'm worried to death he'll get back down into that debris on the bottom, so I'm trying to fight him as hard as I can. These things absolutely clobber these baits.
Pound for pound, it's one of the hardest pulling fish around here for sure. I mean,
all you got to do is look at that tail and you can tell.
That's right. They want to do everything they can to get you back in that rock.
Cool. He almost did. The one thing when you start this, I like to call them rockfish. When you start this rockfish game going with these gags, is we're putting on Procure on these baits and we're swinging them out there and we're reeling those big swimming soft plastics right over the top of the rocks. And once you get one grouper to fire up, come out of the rocks and strike a bait and try to get back down and you pull them away and all that scent's in the water, well, that fires them up. It is pretty much machine gun fishing after that. You have to continue to do it or they'll get wise and they just shut down. So as long as you keep bait swimming through there, you can keep catching them. But as soon as you relax to take too many pictures or you loaf around too much, you know, enjoying the last fish, it completely shuts down and you have to go to another set of rocks to make something happen. There he is. Tell me you got him this time.
I got him, little guy.
Hey, they're all fun.
That's right.
Can you believe a fish that size tries to take a bait that big? I got one too, right here.
Oh, might have got him fired up there.
Got him fired up. He's not real big. You just got to be ready for the big one. That's just it.
That's it.
Oh, he pulled off right there. I must have not had him as good as I thought. That's okay. I don't mind losing one that size.
A lot of people think that you have to go out to 60, 80, 100, 120 feet to catch these big grouper. Here in Christian River and south of here a little bit, we fish anywhere from, I've caught them all the way into 3 and 4 feet of water out to 20 to 25 feet. And it's today, almost all the fish we caught, we were rolling those swim baits over the rocks and you could see them. It's crystal clear water. You could see them come out and almost on the surface just boil on them. And it's really like no other fishery in the state, what we have here in Christian River.
I'll bet a lot of people are wondering why we keep throwing them back. Not the little ones, but the big ones.
It's out of season.
That's right.
But if it was in season, it would even be better. Fishing from October to December 31 is just absolutely phenomenal.
Crazy.
It's every day you can have a chance at a 20, 25 pounder. Got tight on him that time.
Yeah, he ran and turned at a 90-degree angle there. I was able to get the point in him. I mean, this is a meat hook on here too. This is a 10-aught, 1-ounce Z-Man shin locks. I can only imagine 40 years ago when guys were still using Lowrance numbers and soapstones maybe to find out if the bottom was rock or sand or mud or what was down there. And the technology that we have today, you know, I'm running around in a state-of-the-art skiff. I've got side vision, I've got down vision, I've got water temp. I have GPS coordinates that put us within like 3 foot of the spot. There's no way to mess it up. And these spots are small. Not every rock pile is as big as my fire pit area. Most of them are little pieces of shrimp boat rigging or 2 boulders, period. But there's 12 grouper on it. You better have that stuff dialed in. And technology, well, it plays a pretty major role in this game.
Well, we're getting a lot of small fish here. You want to try moving to another spot and get on some bigger fish?
I'm for it. Whatever you think. I'm telling you, you have got this fishery dialed in. So you do what your guide vibes tell you to do.
It's fun to catch those little ones, but I really like pulling on the big ones.
It sure is. One of the interesting factors that you have to really consider when you're fishing the shallow water rock grouper is there's a lot of different species down there. There's snapper down there. I'm not gonna say they're nuisance fish, but you can't go throw a 4 or 5 inch long soft plastic and expect to have the same success that we did. The way you have success and you weed out small fish is you use those big baits. I mean, big baits. The smallest you're gonna use is 6 inches, which is probably gonna disappoint you. And you should be using stuff that's 8, 9, 10 inches long, because those are the ones that catch the trophy gags.
Throw right there to that back rock.
Oh, and just let it fly.
Oh yeah, double. I got a better one here. Looks like you got a decent one. Trying to get you in a rock.
He's trying, he's digging. He is digging, buddy. Then you get them up here and you find out they're not all that, but this one feels good. Tell you what, you gotta tie some good knots for this stuff.
You do.
These are knot testers.
I haven't even got an eye on them yet.
I haven't either.
Well, there he
Down
is.
here in the moss,
Trying
a little
to
bit better fish.
That's a better one there.
Oh.
I'll go ahead and toss mine back. Pretty decent fish though. So there you go, look at that one.
Look at that one. That is a good one.
Let me get down here and help you with that one.
You want to go around the anchor?
Yep. Go bring them right here to me and I'll grab a hold of them for you.
That is a good one, Brandon.
Nice fish. Ooh.
That is a
Beautiful
good one.
fish.
That one make you work a little bit.
That one will.
Take some air out of you.
Yep. Solid keeper fish there too. I have thousands of spots out there, and if you pull up to a spot and make 30, 40 casts and you don't get bit, they're not gonna bite there. You might as well pick up and move to your next spot. And we did a lot of moving today. You wanna hit a spot, and if they're not biting, you go to the next one. And after you catch about 5 or 10 fish, if the bite slows down and you stop catching them, you just move. You don't sit there and grind it out, because you'll find a spot where they're really fired up and you can catch 6, 7, 8, 9 fish in a row, bam, 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 and then you'll have to move again. But it's a lot of moving and a lot of different spots to kind of find one rock where they're really fired up, and you'll catch multiples at that time.
God, oh, you got him there, dude.
That's a big in there. That's a big fish.
That is a good one.
Oh yeah. Ripped the rod right out of my hand.
You look
This
like
is
you
a
got
stud.
shocked by a 220.
Put the heat on him. Look at the
Oh,
size of
yeah.
that one there. There's a stud.
I think you're testing the limits of my drag.
I know.
All right. I guess I'll stop fishing for that one. That is
We'll get
a
around
monster.
this anchor. Come around this side here.
That is a monster.
That is a good fish.
You said it would happen. Ah.
5 feet of water, Chris River, Florida, right there. That is a stud.
That is a stud.
He ate the wrong lady fish today.
What a fish. Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's probably 8, 10 pounds,
10
I would say.
pounder. Well, Captain Brandon Branch is a young guide, but don't let that fool you. He grew up here, right here in Crystal River, knows every nook and cranny of the backcountry, knows damn near every rock pile from basically Mangrove Point and Shark Point all the way out, probably 25 miles. I mean, this kid knows his stuff, period. And when you go offshore with him, he has got so many numbers to run to. If you're looking to go gag grouper fishing and really experience something that's special, I mean, really special, this is not something that you can do anywhere in the state of Florida. You've got to call the Crystal River Fishing Company and go with Captain Brandon Branch. He will show you something that you've never seen before, and I guarantee it, you'll be back for more. Today's tackle talk, well, it's pretty straightforward. When you're targeting grouper, what we call rock grouper out here along the nature coast, you're gonna need some pretty heavy duty snook gear. Now, the way we do it here is we'll take big soft baits like we have with the Magnum swims or the 6-inch swimmers from Z-Man products. These baits have so much action when they swim through the water. They look like real fish, these swim baits. This one here in particular looks a lot like a ladyfish. It's the right size, it's the right look, and it always gets hammered. It's one of our top baits, not only for grouper here on the rocks, but when we go snook fishing in passes and inlets around the state. The key to the whole rig though are these big hooks. These are the chinlock hooks that you see us use when we fish inshore for snook and redfish. They're just the Magnum version of it. This is a 1 ounce, literally 10-aught hook. This is a 15 to 30 pound rod. This is what we call the Pass Special. This particular rod is an 8-foot heavy action rod in the Falcon Clearwater series, and I use it specifically for targeting big snook around the passes and inlets all the time. It'll do a decent job on smaller tarpon, and as you saw today, it did a fantastic job on these gag grouper. But for fishing the shallow water grouper, because most of the fish that we focused on were anywhere from 7 feet of water to 10 feet of water, this was the ideal outfit, especially for throwing artificials.
All right, I'm going over it right now. A nice little ledge right there. We'll drop the anchor here in just a second. In our area, in the 6 to 20 feet range, 99.9% of the fish that we catch are gag grouper. It's a little bit too shallow for the reds and blacks to get in. In the Keys, you'll see that a little bit, but up here we just don't get them like they do down there. So basically our main target is gag grouper. Uh-oh. Get him out of there, get him out of there. That's a giant. Put the heat on him, put the heat on him, put the heat on him. Get him away from that rock. There you go, you got him coming now. Good fish. Oh, God. That is a big one.
Come on, buddy.
He's wanting to dig back this way. I got eyes on him now. He's right here. He's trying to get in the grass. Look at the size of that one. Oh, he's all in them. Whew. There we go.
Man, that is a good one. I'm gonna try to bring him around.
All right.
Over the line.
Yep.
Come on this way, buddy.
That is what it's all about right there.
Woo! You know, I don't know if they get much longer. I just think they keep getting deeper and taller in the back.
God, that hook gets me good.
Is that not an impressive piece of hardware?
It is.
I mean, you can get away with lighter leader with that because it's such a big hook.
Yeah, for sure. It's strong too. To be able to withhold back forward.
I have zero drag on this. That one actually pulled some drag, and I mean, I nutted this down with my pliers. Unbelievable.
Beautiful fish.
Gosh, what a fishery.
It is.
If I were going to paint you a picture of what a gag grouper really is, you're talking about one of the strongest fish that we have in the Gulf of Mexico, period. But when you put them in shallow water over ledges and in cracks and springs and things like that, where they have a way to get away, where they can dive into something, it's just amazing. These are some of the strongest fish that you can tangle with. And we were playing right there on the edge with the lightest tackle that we could get away with.
The grouper fishing is really probably my favorite thing to do. We catch so many different species, and this is my go-to all the time. There's just nothing like it. There's no other fish that pulls as hard, and they're pretty predictable. We can go out and catch them almost every day, and there's nothing like watching my clients or myself pulling on one of these big 10 to 20 pound grouper. It's an adrenaline rush like no other when they hit, because Like they literally want to pull you out of the boat. It's unbelievable.
Hey, if you've never done this, don't worry about it. Anyone can fish this style. First thing you have to understand, you need a qualified local guide to go with to do this stuff. It's kind of treacherous just getting out there because there are literally rocks that are out of the water when you're 2 miles offshore here. So I can't impress upon any of you do-it-yourselfers enough that you should go out with a professional guide a few times until you understand what can happen to your boat up here. 2, use a big bait. You must use a big bait. Use adequate tackle, something you can pull these fish away. There's a lot of 20-pound fish out there and you gotta be prepared for it. I promise you, if you just employ some of the techniques that we use today, you will have the time of your life fishing the rock piles for gags here on the Nature Coast.